Hello everyone, how are you all doing? Welcome back to a new lesson. In today's class, we are making a girl's lovely dress. So I've made a sketch of what we are going to be making, which is what I have here. So looking at it, you could make it sleeveless or with sleeve, however you want it. So what are the measurements needed? First, the length of the dress, because this dress I'm making for a girl of 1 year 6 months. So this is a standard measurement for a girl of. So the length of the dress is 20 inches. The shoulder measurement is 9 inches. The nape to waist 8 inches. The chest circumference. How do you take that? The largest circumference of the baby, usually it could be their tummy area. Okay, either their chest. So just make sure the measuring tape goes up to the chest and down to the tummy area. That's very important. Then you will need half of the armhole, which is 4 inches or 4 1/4. So here are the fabric I'll be making use of. So I have this leftover African print fabric, and I've had these voilets for a long time, which I've been keeping. So this is a good time to make use of it, okay? So now let's quickly draft now. So what I will do now is to draft on the paper, but everything I'm doing, you can do that on the fabric. But because this material is very, very busy, so what you will do is fold some fabric for the front and also fold for the back. The back should have extra 3/4 inch for the zipper region. So here I have 3/4 inch. That will be for the zipper. So all our measurement now will be from this line upward. Then what did I do? The nape to waist measurement is 8 inches. So I measure from here 8 inches. But don't forget, we are going to need half an inch to join to the skirts. So we have to put that half an inch. So everything should be 8 1/2. So the next thing you are now going to do is half of the armhole. Half of the armhole for her is 4 inches, okay? So 4 inches, then 8 1/2 inches for the length to the waist. The next thing you are now going to do now is this. You will start by making the shoulder slope. So for her, from 2 years to 1 year and 2, just 2 inches. Mark 2 inches at this point. After doing that, then our shoulder measurement is 9, okay? Half of that will be 4 1/2. All the measurements after the zipper allowance. So 4 1/2 is here. So after that, here I'm just going to come down by 3/4 inch or half an inch, okay? So 3/4 inch or half an inch. Then you connect to the 2 inches. So from that point, I'm going to make the armhole line. So that's 4 1/2. Half of the shoulder will come here, mark 4 1/2. I want to confirm 4 1/2 and 4 1/2. So that is it. The next thing you are going to do is the bust circumference, the chest circumference. Then for the front, because the front has to be deeper than the back, just come in or go up by 1 1/2 from the chest line, 1 1/2, and then for the front, just come in by half an inch. Okay, so that's the front. This will be for the back. Now the chest circumference is 20. 20 divided by 4 will give us 5 inches plus 1 inch or 3/4 seam allowance. That should be 6 or 5 3/4. So 5 inches is the actual measurement. So plus 3/4 is okay, or 1 inch depending on your preference. Then I'll come to the waist. I'm going to measure the same thing because it's for a child. Don't want any fitness. 5 3/4 is here. So the next thing is to form the armhole hole. So you rotate your curve. That's because it's for a child. So that's for the front. Then the back. So that is it on how to make that. So for the neckline, I'm just going to keep this width, or you can just make it 2 1/4, but 2 inches is just fine. So for the depth of the front, I'm going to make it 1 3/4. I want it to be high, but you can just do 2 inches. So when you take quarter inseam allowance, it will be about 2 1/4. Okay, but for me, I'll just make it 1 3/4 because she's not really chubby. So 1 3/4. Then for the back, I can make that 1 inch. That's if you don't want a deep V. So then you can. So this is for the front. For the back, I'm just going to do that. So this is for the front and this is for the back. So we can now cut it out. Then another thing you will now do for the waist area is this. You see the front, this is the seam allowance. You go up by 1/2 inch here, and then you just blend it into the front. So you go in about 3 inches or so. Yeah, about 3 inches inward. And then from the 1/2 inch you came up by, you just trim it off. That will be trimmed off. So that's what you are going to have for the front. And then for the back, this 1/2 inch is going to be cut out completely because the front is lower than the back. Okay, so those are little tips that will help you to have a very beautiful dress. So I've added 1/2 inch seam allowance to the shoulder region. We've also added to the lower part. Now, in case you want to have yours to be sleeveless, which I might still change my mind, I don't know exactly what I want. So what you are going to do now is to come in from this shoulder area. Just come in by 1/2 inch. Can you see? Then you take your armhole curve and blend straight here. So you are taking it for both the front and the back. So you won't need the front and the back again. So I'm just going to blend it from that part straight into the armhole. So just rotate it well. So can you see? So if you want it to be sleeveless, you are taking this pink one straight out. So this will not be there. But if you are having sleeve, you have to maintain this as it is. The next thing is to extend these necklines straight into the zipper region, only for the back place. So I'm cutting the back. So now the pattern is ready. So what I will do now is to cut the back first. So because I told you that the back will be short of 1/2 inch, just fold in this 1/2 inch. All these little tips are very important. So this is what the back will look like. I have cut it out now. So this is what it looks like. So this has to be open because of the zipper. So now I can trim this off. So this is what the front looks like. Then you can fold in the zipper allowance if you still want to keep the pattern. Okay. Then now we can. Ready, this is for the front with the lining. I would have used black lining, but this is what I have. So this is also the back with the lining. So before we go to the lower parts, there is something we quickly want to do on the front, like the design I have here. So all I will do now is to get the selvage of the lace fabric and place it this way. So can you see? I want it to be like this. So I can just cut this off this way and then use hemming glue I'm just going to put hemming glue here to glue it down. That is all. I've glued it down, so I just make sure I left a little bit open. Okay, so how do I trim it off? I'll come this way and then trim it all off, so it's going to be easy from the wrong side. Right now I've cut it all out, so you can see how beautiful it's looking. Okay, the next thing we are going to do for this upper part is to join them at the shoulder. Can you see both the lining and the main fabric, 1/2 inch? Now let us go to the lower part. From this diagram, remember I want the total length of the dress to be 20 inches. And we've already taken out 8 inches. Though we use 8.5, the half is for seam allowance. So if you remove 8 from 20, you'll be left with 12 inches. So we want this skirt to be 12 inches. But remember, we are having 2 layers. So what I will do is to make this Ankara print fabric 8 and this lower one 4. Okay, and then we want it to be gathered. So all you have to do now is to calculate the amount of fabric to gather. You would just 2 times the waist circumference, which is 20. We use for the chest and also the waist, 20 inches, times 2.5 or times 3. But for me, I'll be using times 3, which is 60 inches, and the length of 8. So I will need 1/2 inch at the upper part to join to the top, 1/2 inch to join to the lace. That is 1. So I'll be cutting 60 by 9 inches. So here I already have it cut out. So this is it. If you want it so full, you could do more, but I think that's just okay for a baby. So this is what I have in length. So can you see I have 9 inches by 60. Yeah, I just cut out the 45 inches of the Ankara print fabric and had little to it. So this is the extra little one. So that's how to cut that. So what do you do? After joining it to become one, I'm going to just overlock or just gather up to 20 inches because we need 20. But remember the seam allowance of 3/4 inch on both sides on the back. Okay, this is it that we folded in. So that's going to be, instead of 20, we'll have 21.5. So I'm going to gather this to 21.5 inches. Then for the lining, okay, let me talk about the lace. Then for the lace, I just cut this out. The selvage is very important. I want that to be this way. So for the selvage, all I did is to just cut out the remaining 4. But because of this design I have here, I don't want to cut in the middle. I just cut it out, which is now 4 3/4, which is still okay because I'll be sewing in 1/2 into this. So by the time I sew it up, I'll be left with 4 1/4, which is fine. And how do you go about this? Once you have joined this, remember I told you it's 2 pieces. Once I've joined it to be 1, I'm now going to join this lace together here at the lower part. I'm going to join by 1/2 inch before I now gather it up to 21.5. Now for the lining, I'm using a purple lining, so you don't want the lining going beyond this Ankara print fabric. You don't want purple showing under this. Okay, so what I did is to cut out 9.5. Okay, 9.5. I just did the lining times 2, which is 40, or you could do it 45. So by 9.5. So 1/2 inch to join to the top, and then I'll fold half, then half. That's 1 inch. So that's why I have 9.5. Guys, I have gathered up both the lining and the make fabric to 21.5. So this is what it looks like. Can you see how beautiful? Also the main skirt. So it has to be 21.5, the same measurement as the top. So can you see 21.5? So it's looking beautiful already. So now what we need to do now is to finish up the upper part. This is what you have. What are you going to do? Make sure you pin everything. You are going to sew just 1/4 inch on the armhole from the beginning here straight to the end of the armhole. The same thing on this side. After doing that, then we come to the neckline. Remember, the seam allowance we left is 3/4 inch on both the lining and the main fabric. So you start from 3/4 inch and then you sew 1/4 inch back here and stop at 3/4 inch because of the zipper. I have sewn it, as you can see here, and the neckline. The next thing I did is to notch and clip. Here now I just clipped, while on the neckline I have to notch all around, leaving the seam allowance. So the next thing is to bring it all out. So open it up this way and bring it all out. So this is what it's going to look like. So I'm going to give it a good press. So I'll come over here too from the front and bring it all out and press it. I have ironed it and this is what it looks like. Can you see how beautiful that is? So that is how it should look like. So what is the next thing to do? While it is open this way, open up the lining and the main fabric, open up the side. So make sure the seam line matches. We left 3/4 inch, then I'm going to sew from the main fabric 3/4 down to the lining. Then I'll do that to the other side. I've sewn it up and iron, and see how beautiful this is looking. So this is what it looks like. So after sewing the sides, I just make sure I open the seam allowance to press it so well. So what is the next thing to do? The next thing to do now is to get the lower part. Join this main fabric to the main fabric, 1/2 inch, and then join the lining to the lining. You can see how beautiful this is looking. You can see that, so wonderful. And on the other side, this is what it looks like. You can see the lining and the main fabric. I made sure I overlock all the raw edges. You can see before fixing the zipper. And there's a way you can add fullness to this dress that is going to look so beautiful and puffy. So I'll just advise you to join our kiddies online classes. Trust me, you are going to learn a lot. The next thing we are going to do now is to fix the zipper, and that will be fixed only to the main fabric. Remember, this opening is still there, so it's going to be easy. I'll go over there now and just fix the zipper on the main fabric alone. I have fixed the zipper, and you can see how beautiful that looks, okay, using my zipper foot. The next thing we are going to do is to finish these lower parts. So I'm going to turn it this way. Can you see? And then I'm going to go from where the zipper stops. I'm going to sew it straight down. I have sewn the lower part. Please ensure you change threads. You might think it is cumbersome, but please, you have to do that. I don't want to be seeing black or purple thread on your white lace, please. So the next thing we have to do now is to finish the inside. That's the lining. And how do you go about it? Just look at it. This is it. Bring out this part. Remember, this upper part is opened. Then you can open the zipper. Can you see? Close it up this way, so it has to match. And once you do that, first thing, you have to close up this upper part. So you sew in the top of the zipper together with the lining and the main fabric. So once you've done that, just bring your lining straight this way. Okay? Then you pin it down. Then just sew on the existing seam on the main fabric, and that is how you finish your lining. Looking at it, I've sewn it on the wrong side on both sides. So the next thing is to just bring it out. So I'm going to cut this excess part of the zipper. So can you see how neat that is? So you can see, so the other side too. So I'm going to give it a good. On the wrong side, this is how neat it is. Isn't this beautiful? And at the back, this is how it looks. So let me quickly give it a good press.